Hey, what's up? I'm KBHD here, and I've got the latest beta of Android 15 on my Pixel 8 Pro right here. So a lot of you know I've done these videos for a long time. Like, I've made a video on the best features of the latest version of Android for I don't know how many years in a row now, since they were naming them after desserts. And if you've been watching all of these, then you've noticed a trend, which is there used to be huge new features and massive like visual overhauls and all sorts of crazy gigantic things changing with Android. But now things have stabilized, I would say. It's a lot more small changes and more nuanced things here and there. So it's gotten to the point where these top 5 features of Android 15, back in the day, this would have been like a .0.2 update. Like these are smaller and smaller new features with each new version. But on the other hand, that actually feels like it is they're a little more well considered. They're more about usefulness. They're more about little tweaks here and there to make actually using and owning your phone a little bit better. So I can appreciate that. And I will also say it's felt like in videos in the past I've said that, you know, this is a version that's only going to show up on the Pixel for at least a year, and you may never get to see the newest version of Android. But I feel like with a lot of the newest companies actually promising a good amount of software updates into the future, hopefully more people will actually see these couple of things. So I'm just going to jump right in. These are the top 5 best features I've found in Android 15. So number 5 is called Private Space. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a private space on your Android phone for your top secret files, photos, and whatever else you got in there. So to turn it on, you go to Settings, and then Security and Privacy, and then Private Space is near the bottom. So you confirm it's you, and you pick a Google account and a new lock if you want. Then this private space is set up, and basically you can always find it all the way at the bottom of your app drawer. Like, that's where it lives. So obviously if you were to like give someone your phone to borrow for a while, you could put it in guest mode and it would just basically be a brand new phone for them set up. But yeah, private space is different. It's more of just a separate section under a separate lock underneath the phone that you're already logged into and signed up for. So it's basically a whole new little section of your phone hidden away behind a second lock for your top secret activities, apps, files, photos, whatever you want. And when you want to hide it away again, you just hit lock. You could put whatever you want in there. Totally up to you. Then number 4. So I'm kind of combining a lot of these things. I've done this in videos in the past. It's just a whole bunch of the little things that sort of stack up to feel like a more refined experience. So number 4 is the little things. Like, one of them is rich widget previews, which obviously is not a huge thing because how often are you actually adding new widgets to your home screen? Not very much. But when you do, now the widgets that support this will actually show you content that will actually be on them before they get added. And they're in live and real time and represent real things on your phone. This could have maybe been higher on my list, but at this point it's so new that it's basically only like 2 of Google's apps. Like, it's just the clocks and widgets around that. But it would be nice to see more Google apps and even more third-party apps adopt this. Like, I want to see in the example widget before I add it, like one of my actual Notion boards instead of a made-up one, or one of my actual contacts instead of a random person. Another one is this new back animation when you move backwards through like settings or anything with multiple layers that you can back out of. I think it's a little bit smoother, a little nicer. Another one is Bluetooth audio sharing. You can have multiple headphones paired to the same Bluetooth audio source as long as they support Bluetooth LE, which most new headphones do. Another one is high quality mode when you use your Android phone as your webcam. Another one is Bluetooth auto on. So if you turn Bluetooth off on your phone, then the next day it automatically gets turned back on again, so you don't have to remember to. And there's just a whole bunch more little things like that. It feels like every year Google pays attention to little things about the way we use our phones and then can add stuff to help us there. But speaking of little things, I'm making number 3 by itself one of those little things, which is the new volume sliders. So right now when I hit volume, it looks the way it normally does. The auto live caption button is still there on the Pixel, totally underrated feature. And then your mode switcher at the top. But then when you hit the 3 dots to expand, you get this whole almost full screen overlay showing where you're playing audio to, and then all the sliders for volume of everything happening on your phone. And this is something, you know, that's been smaller and in various other forms in previous versions of Android, but I like this big one. It just makes it super clear what's going on and how loud each individual thing is going to be. So then now we're getting to the top. Number 2 is partial screen recordings. So I think normally when you do a screen recording on your phone, you just expect to see everything, right? You just start it, it's your home screen, it's every single app you switch between, everything happening on your phone. That's a normal screen recording. But I've been playing with screen recordings here on the Pixel with this dev preview, and it's a lot smarter about only showing, if you want, individual single things happening on your phone. So when you go to initiate a screen recording, you can either do the entire screen, which is normal, or a single app. So check this out. If I do single app and then start recording, it gives me a picker to choose which app I want to record. I'll pick one of the ones I already have open, Relay Reddit, just for this example. The countdown starts at the top, and then it's recording this Reddit app. So I can scroll around, just use it as usual. But now watch, if I go home and then open another app like Photos and then scroll around in here, and then go back home, go back to the Relay app, then scroll some more, that's the screen recording. Now check this out. When you go to watch the screen recording, it looks normal, but then the moment I go home and then go to Photos, see, that doesn't show up in the screen recording. It's still just recording the Reddit app, even though it's in the background now. And then you can see when I get back to it and start scrolling some more, it picks up where it left off. So it's only specifically showing what I want you to see. And this is super useful. I think this is my new default for screen recordings. You don't have to see, a random text message I have coming in, or me copying and pasting a security code from another app or anything like that. It's just me giving you a tutorial on like one exact thing that I want to show you. That's pretty cool. But then number one, this is one of those things that Android has been really good at and had the edge at for years, which is just better notifications and notification management. And so far with these two previews, it's even better in specifically a couple of ways. There's adaptive vibrations, there is notification cooldown, there is custom vibrations, there's a whole bunch of stuff, so I'll walk through each. So adaptive vibration is fascinating. It kind of just seems like another one of those magic feeling Google things, but you go into vibration settings and just turn it on. There's no further settings, but it basically says it's using your phone's mic and other sensors to determine the sound levels around it and potentially even what type of surface it's on to set the strength of vibration so you can always feel or hear it. So the idea is if your phone is on like a desk somewhere or a hard surface, it doesn't have to rattle the thing at maximum strength to be heard. It can turn it down. But then if it's on a couch or something softer, it will pick that up and it will vibrate more loudly or more firmly so you can actually still hear it. Clever. And then there's another thing in Dev Preview 1 at least that was called Notification Cooldown, which is literally just a setting to be able to help you manage when you get a ton of notifications from the same app over and over in a row. Because we've all been in that group chat that's going nuts, or the Slack channel that won't shut up, or Asana, or whatever, something that's just constantly pinging you over and over with the same app. And so notification cooldown, when you enable that, will just sort of taper that off and keep you updated on when a bunch of new stuff comes in, but not just buzz you over and over. Now that was in Dev Preview 1, and then this is Dev Preview 2, and it's not in this one. It's gone. I'm not sure why, but I hope they bring that back. I hope they keep it because that's pretty sick. And then there's an even more subtle one that's because it's basically hidden to users. This is something developers have seen, which is individual vibration patterns per app. Because see, some of you aren't old enough to remember when smartphones had LED notification lights on them. Multicolor lights that would actually have a different color light up based on what app you were getting a notification from. So I could know without waking up my phone if I had a blinking blue light happening, oh, that's a Twitter notification, I can ignore it. Or if it was a blinking green light, then it's a new Gmail notification and I can ignore it. But if it's a new blinking red light, then it's a new missed call and I can ignore it. But then phones all got rid of these lights, so now we wake up our phones every time we want to check on something. And if you have an always on display, that can be useful, but in a Surface shown to developers, they have the ability now to customize their own vibration pattern specific to their app. So I think that's pretty sick. I'm kind of hoping, and this is totally just hoping, but I hope that they surface that to users as well. I hope, just like I've been able to pick between a bunch of different weather icon apps for my one app that does weather, I hope they let me choose between a couple custom vibration sounds or vibration patterns for apps, because I would love to customize and feel that I've gotten a Twitter notification and that I can still ignore it. Now, for those wondering, since we check every year, when you go into settings, it doesn't actually say Android 15. It says Vanilla Ice Cream for this dev preview too. And when you click into it, this is the animated Easter egg, which looks nothing like Vanilla Ice Cream, but for what it's worth, it's a little more space-like. But now here's the thing, if you hold it down long enough, it speeds up all the way and then snaps and turns into this sort of random spacecraft in the middle of what seems like a nearly infinite canvas. Kind of reminds me of that Asteroids game from back in the day, but you don't shoot anything, you just kind of fly around using this thrust vector and explore this gigantic space. The only thing that worries me is that in the corner it says bodies, 0 out of 10. So I think if people explore this thing long enough, they're gonna find bodies, whatever that means. But yeah, like I said, a bunch of subtle things, some new notification stuff here and there, some new management, usage of your phone type stuff. It's nuanced, it's subtle. I'm still excited for some of the bigger AI-based features to drop because that's the stuff that we're expecting to make a big difference to the way we use our phones. It's just not built into Android anymore. It's the AI stuff that your phone is capable of that's not in the OS. But it's still good to see GoatOS features too. Let me know what your favorite one is, or if you agree with my order of the top 5 in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.